For more on this, I'm joined live tonight by the President and CEO of the Forest Products Association of Canada, Nighbor. Derek, thanks for being with us tonight. What's been the impact of this big hike in U.S. anti-dumping duties on Canadian softwood lumber?
Yeah, it's just more chaos and uncertainty, and really it disrupts supply chains. It drives up the costs of building and renovating homes, and it's a tax on American consumers. I think we've seen that repeated directly. So today's measures announced by the feds, it's a bridge for us. There's no magic bullet here. You know, the ultimate goal is to get a deal that works for Canada and for Canadians with the United States. But in the meantime, we appreciate the government's effort to build that bridge to the possible for us.
We've seen that in the steel sector, these tariffs have started to result in job losses. Will these anti-dumping duties start to result in job losses, in your opinion?
You know, I think it depends how long we have to go before a deal is struck with the United States. I think what we saw in the package today were some loan guarantees for companies that might want to access some credit to weather the storm. I think we saw some, you know, where we do have employee casualties of this dispute. $50 million in worker supports that would be run through the provinces to help in the regions if any mills do close. But like you know, we're really hopeful in terms of the efforts the Carney government are putting forward, and Minister LeBlanc is putting forward with Ambassador Hillman on the negotiation, and that's really going to be the indicator of what the true impacts for our employees and our communities will be.
The total aid package amounts to $1.2 billion. How far do you think that goes to counteract the effect of these anti-dumping duties that have been hiked up?
Yeah, you know, the ultimate goal here is to get a deal done with the U.S. that works. This is an interim measure to support those businesses that are really struggling in the short term. But we also have to look to the long term at the same time, right? So we saw $500 million over 3 years to support innovation in the sector, to support market diversification, and to support you know, ways of connecting the traditional industry to the emerging industry when it comes to mass timber facilities like the one in St. Thomas, Ontario, or prefab and modular home building businesses.
All right, Carney promised today that he's going to move Canada away from dependence on the U.S. market. Do you see opportunities to sell more Canadian softwood around the world, and where do you think they are?
Yeah, it's a slower burn, though. You know, we made some real headway getting into China over the past number of years, but with the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, China's buying a lot of wood from Russia now. So, you know, the thing, and it's not too dissimilar from the steel industry or the auto industry. We, over the past number of decades, have deliberately integrated our industries and our supply chains in Canada and the U.S. So we're very similar from our friends in steel and aluminum and auto who are going through the same thing. You can't just undo that overnight. But the more we can, and there's no magic bullet, but I think what we saw today was a commitment to support in looking to what those options might be, even if that's 1% or 2% or 3% in markets like China or Japan or India, that's a good thing. But the U.S. is going to continue for the foreseeable future to be a critical partner of ours. And that's why our hope is that we'll be able to get to a deal that's going to work for both Canada and the United States.
And CEO of the Forest Products Association of Canada, Derek, thanks for taking the time for us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Matt.